Hello everyone, my name is Aziman, Abdullah. I'd like to share my research study in this conference, which is entitled with Sleep Behavior and Online Engagement in Learning Management System at Higher Education during COVID-19 pandemic. And this is an overview of my presentation. An institution shifting to online learning. This has causing the increment of the technology engagement, and there are various studies or literatures that relate with technology engagement with sleep disorder, and then the pandemic itself with the sleep quality. And this sleep quality, there's a strong link with the human immune system based on the literature. Most of the report studies use the self-report approach or questionnaire or survey to report this kind of phenomenon. So there's a lack of research on using metric or data analytic approach to report sleep behavior in the context of online learning during the pandemic. So my study is aimly for providing empirical analysis of user sleeping behavior based on LMS log data. So by the reference number 13, which is really about time, and it is measurable. And the good thing is not necessarily promote positive learning outcomes. For the sleep disorder, the sleep foundation generally outline 4 indicators that indicate someone who may have sleep disorder. So it's either one. So either one from the 4. So I use the indicator number 4. Seriously, lack of research or literatures looking at the sleep behavior in the online learning context. So this is the result from search string from Scopus database. Therefore, the research question that I developed for my study is: can analysis of model log or LMS log of user online engagement generate meaningful user sleeping behavior pattern during COVID-19 pandemic? And can the result be used by the institution policymaker to mitigate the potential risks associated with the sleep disorder or sleep behavior? This is the research method that I use in this study. And the result is this is descriptive analysis. How many record? Basically, the LMS contain a very large data set, so we need to so-called properly filter it to choose only related so-called tables and related data set. And this is overall engagement. If you can see, there are two group of users from this graph. So the spiking pattern showing because the institution is in the stage of reopening after the government issue or declare the national movement control order, where the teaching and learning activity need to be stopped temporarily, beginning with the mid of March until early June. So this is overall user engagement, segmenting by the day and the time in and the day. So this is hour in the 24 hours time, and this is the day in a week. So number 1 represent Monday, and so forth. So 6 and 7 is weekend. If you can see, there's on the weekdays there are quite high engagement concentrations after the midnight. So there are many reasons why, but it's not in the scope of the study, because the study is already to investigate whether we can use the log to indicate the sleep pattern behavior. So this behavior is similar symptom with the syndrome known as delayed sleep-wake phase syndrome, DSPS. So the definition is there. You can read. And by looking at the specific user category, which is on the student, it indicates that more than 50% student at least once in the duration or in a semester engage in LMS during typical bedtime after midnight until, let's say, put 2-3 hours after that is like 4 a.m. And this is the pattern of the staff. So that means many of them engage more frequently during that typical bedtime. But the issue is how many, because this is indicate how many of them in a percentage at least once engage during that moment, during that hour. To further investigate this this so-called behavior, this is indicate how many users exactly engage based on category only during midnight to 4 a.m. So it shows this many. So this finding can be used as indicator to indicate the sleep disorder according to the Sleep Foundation previously being reviewed, which is prone to unusual behavior that disrupts sleep. But this analysis may indicate a different user. So a person may not have continuous behave this one, but this that already indicate unusual behavior. To indicate some kind of habit, which means consistent and continuous behavior. So I perform a box plot analysis to see how many of them that so-called has outliers. That means very frequent. So there are student and staff. This result suggests more study is required. To answer the recent question, yes, LMS log offer various insightful pattern of user sleep behavior. And then the policy, is it useful for the policy makers in the institution? I believe yes, because sleep is very important, basic need of human right. It's very critical. And as a conclusion, my study offer a new perspective on online learning engagement, on the potential negative effect specific on the user sleep behavior, and more information we can get from this LMS log. Proper guideline is required to increase awareness about healthy online engagement in higher education. As for future research, my study can be expanded to link with the depression issue in higher education, and how we can link with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDG) to promote health and well-being relate with digital consumption. This study is being sponsored by University Malaysia Pahang financial aid for the community grant. And this is reference, and thank you everyone. Terima kasih, and I open for the question and